Hi, everybody. Everybody here is in absolute pain, for the most part.
I'm not in pain, to be honest.
Okay, well, everybody here is having a time. And...
I'm like, you know when you put two magnets together?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're not connected, they're repulsed because the two magnetic poles are forcing each other apart. That's what I'm like right now.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm sad because we didn't...
Bleach.
I'm sad
because we didn't get to see Chad punch things, and then when that didn't work, punch them harder.
Spooky, what anime is Chad from? It's Bleach!
Bleach. I was trying to think of another cleaning product, and I couldn't do it off the top of my head.
We watched Bleach. We skipped,
We watched
We watched detergent.
Yeah.
We watched, episode 1, and then we skipped 100 episodes, and we watched that, and then we skipped another 100 episodes. So
yeah, it was 108 and 290.
6 or something.
6?
298,
Yeah.
6. I don't know. Does it matter? I don't think it matters. Anyway.
Nothing matters.
Anyway. We should probably
It's a shonen.
We should probably... Hey. I like shonen.
I mean, considering what happens in the episodes, I'm not wrong. Spooky, what happens?
Well, okay. I forgot that episode 1 happened already, because wow, was it different than the rest?
I guess we should
Look how many
clarify
notes you have.
to everyone who's never watched Bleach. The first episode of Bleach is nothing like the rest of Bleach.
I'm pretty sure the first episode I have more notes for than the other two combined.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
more happens.
So, the beginning... Be real, I forgot to take notes for a hot minute, because I normally don't take notes on this podcast.
No, that's fine. I didn't expect
sharing.
either of you to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, so, the beginning was just kind of this, ominous shit that doesn't matter. And then Ichigo is suddenly in a fight with a group of people, and it's like, why is he in a fight with these group of people, other than he's a delinquent? And then you find out it's because they knocked over flowers left at, a spot where a girl died, and you find out that Ichigo can see ghosts, because the ghost girl is just kinda there. I have in my notes Ichigo is 15 as a note. That's not really important, it was just funny in the moment.
He is 15.
Because he looks like he's about 25, but, you know, he's just 15. It's fine. Yep. So anyway, he kicks the shit out of some people, then he goes home, and then his dad's like, "You're home late, son," and then they get into a fist fight, too. because that's normal. Fast forward a tiny bit, a fucking giant monster appears, and the ghost girl is, running from said monster, and then Rukia, who is another main character, shows up to save the day. And then it's I don't know, man. So then Ichigo's...
Bleach has literally killed Spooky.
Well, Spooky drank the bleach.
Well,
excuse me.
Did it at least taste nice?
No, I swallowed my own spit.
You were thinking about Chad, it's fine.
True. So Ichigo's laying on his bed, and Rukia just kind of comes in through the wall for no reason. And then Rukia's like, "Wait, you can fucking see me?" And then she's like, "I'm a soul reaper. We're people that come from the Soul Society. We kill demons, and we have these special incantations that we can use."
Well, not demons specifically.
I thought they said demons in the subtitles, straight up.
Maybe, but they basically right after just go there's hollows and there's holes.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So then another demon hollow thing appears, and he's like, I smell a good soul. And he goes to Ichigo's house because he wants to eat Ichigo. Ichigo breaks out of the incantation that Rukia put on him that made him unable to move through sheer willpower and definitely nothing else. And then he finds out the people are in danger because of him. He jumps in the way of the monster. Rukia gets a gut because of that. But she's not dead. She's just kind of laying on the side of the road, kind of useless. It's really it's really foreshadowing for the rest of her character for the series here on out. So then she's like, "There's one thing you can do. You can fight." And Ichigo accidentally takes all of her powers and becomes a Soul Reaper. So he changed his clothes and has a big sword, and he fights the demon. That's it. That's episode 1.
I mean, they did also have a whole explanation that
I forgot to put notes on that. So people that come from the Soul Society are there to take care of the hollows, and there's the hollows and the holes, and the ghost people who look like actual people, they're the holes, and they get sent to heaven, aka the Soul Society. And then there's the hollows, and they say they kill them to purify them. They're probably just kind of sending them to the void, but that's fine. We don't talk about it. And that's basically what they do. And also normal people can't see them.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep. So we have
episode 1.
hollows. So we have these things called hollows, right? Which are these big old monster things that are usually characterized by a white face mask of some sort and a hole in the middle of them, which makes them hollow. And then and then you have the whole people, which are brought to the Soul Society, who look like just normal people, and they have chains coming out of them, because you get it? They're whole instead of being hollow inside. I
actually didn't get the chain thing until just now.
Yes.
I was the whole time I was why do these fuckers have chains coming out of them? I didn't get it. But anyway, yeah. So, episode 1 was a 0 out of 10 because it didn't have Chad in it.
Yeah. So
or
far.
Ikura or Grimshaw. I hate both of them. Okay.
Your turn, Gamb.
Okay, episode 108. We load in, and we're in the middle of a fight, and Deer says, vampires are a thing, by the way. Okay, whatever. It's a shonen fight, so they're fighting. It's a shonen fight. If you've seen a shonen fight, you've seen this one. Main protagonist fight bad guy. Bad guy very powerful. Protagonist struggle, then win. But he pulls out a dark saber that's useless. Notable moments include the villain taking out a peanut that is a dagger and stabbing it in Ichigo, or around him. I wasn't entirely paying attention. And then we cut to the B plot where it's just some random archaeologists or whatever walking around, and they're like, "Hey, we're going this way." And then we just cut to a hype of different random people, cut to this person, then cut to this person, then cut to fucking this person. Cool. None of them really say anything ever. I think there's one scene where someone's talking, but they're not really saying anything. So we're just saying, hey, stuff is happening. And then we cut back to the shonen fight. Some people show up, and they're there to emotionally support, I guess, Ichigo, because they don't actually help him fight.
Which is my favorite part of what's happened in all 3 of these episodes, I think. We'll talk about that. Notably, what shows up, what happens is Byakuya Togami shows up, and Shantae shows up, and also Chad, who Spooky was happy to see.
Yes.
And they're like, we should help him. And then Useless Girl is like, no. And then all of us, including all the characters, were like, why not? And she was like, shonen. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And then they fought more, and then Ichigo, sliced the dude, and oh no, Ichigo lost, but then he didn't. The end.
I liked
it's a shonen fight episode.
When they all showed up, they're like, fuck, should we help? And Rukia's like, no. And they're but why? And then she's like, he needs to do this himself. They're both similar, so that he needs to do this himself. And it's that's not a fucking reason. This is an evil vampire, man. Kill him.
Yes.
Which is really great. I also like the ending is the most anticlimactic thing I think I've ever like seen. Like they have like this like the stereotypical like big standoff, and they both like swing their blade, and then they're standing opposite of each other, and you're like,
and one falters,
but
like,
actually,
oh my god,
it's the other one. The one that falls.
Yeah, and then Ichigo falls, and it's like, oh, and then the vampire man just kind of goes, kills himself by just evaporating into nothing, and it's like, and like I watched that, and I was like, okay, so he like just went away, right? And then they were like, then there was like dialogue that was basically like, he decided to kill himself.
There's a whole scene where everybody like runs up like Ichigo, and then he just kind of stands up and stares into the distance.
Yeah, and it's literally like the vampire has lived too long. He decided it was time to die.
It was too much for him.
I was like, fucking what? Like, what was the point of any of this? What was the point of the whole fucking fight? Like, he won, and then he was like, okay, bye.
Yeah. So I believe the whole arc, this is like right after I stopped watching Bleach when I was younger. So I believe the whole arc in this is that, like, the seals that he had like the seal thing on his body that he was drawing power from. That was the weird white lines. But the archaeologists were also unearthing one of those sigil things, which I think was planted as like a bomb, and there were multiple of them that they had to stop from being triggered, and the vampire dude basically could trigger it. This is what I'm assuming, because that's what I got from this. The vampire dude was going to trigger them and blow up most of the Soul Society, which is why he was like, don't worry, if I blow one of them up, then it'll be fine and the others won't go off until I say so, sort of thing. And then he, like, takes out his lightning sword that he has to fight Ichigo, and this character who died in a previous episode, his sword is just there, and redirects the lightning.
The fucking random asshole that I was like, this isn't even a character. Like, he just looked like a background character. There was no reason. I actually want to say I loved that part, because you can just tell from his design. Like, if I would have been watching this, like, chronologically, and that fucker would have shown up, I would have been like, oh, he's gonna be fucking dead at the end of this arc.
Oh, absolutely! He has the face of a man who's like going to die. That's who he is.
I was like, hell yeah, here we go.
Oh my
God. It was just some random asshole with, like, random, like, he like had, like, a kind of a bowl cut, but somehow less interesting.
Yeah. Like, Chad kind of has, like, a bowl cut, but it's kind of curly, and it's, like, nice. And this dude was just like, no, my mom put a bolt on my head.
Yeah, like, it was just, I don't know what it was, but it was, I don't know, shit. I love watching Shonen and seeing, like, just seeing, like, some random asshole appear at the beginning of an arc, and you can just tell by their design if they're gonna stick around or if they're
100%. I mean, but Bleach has this thing where the most uninteresting designs are both extremely important characters and extremely unimportant characters who are gonna die. And it is the weirdest thing how vast their character design goes. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fast it goes to 10. Which I guess brings us to Aizen, which means that you could talk about Aizen now, Spooky. Go ahead.
Yeah, so episode 296 starts on a shot of Aizen's eye. Which Aizen, by the way, is like the main villain of Bleach. Also, by the way, Aizen has probably the most boring character design for a villain I've ever seen in my goddamn life. He is a man. And the only, I'm not kidding when I say this, the only defining feature is he has one piece of hair that falls in front of his face. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the only thing. He feels
like they wanted to make a really sexy bad guy that everyone would be like, oh no, but don't do that, you're so sexy, for some reason, and it just falls flat. 100%.
He is like, I literally, at the beginning of this, made a joke about where's Aizen, and then Deer sent a photo of Aizen, and I was like, who is this? And then Deer was like, there you go, there's Aizen. I was like, that's what he fucking looks like? I don't remember. Like, I forgot entirely. So anyway, it opens up on Aizen's eye, and he's fighting Ichigo, who has his hollow mask on because Ichigo is like everything.
We'll get to that.
He's a human. He's a hollow.
He's a Quincy.
Soul Reaper. He's a Quincy. Yeah. It's fine.
Which we didn't get into Quincy's at all, but don't worry about them. They're boring.
They shoot arrows.
They do.
That's about it. Anyway, and Aizen's like, you know all those fights you had, Ichigo? And Ichigo's like, yeah. And Aizen's like, I'm about to blow your fucking mind. And Ichigo's like, what? And he's like, it was all part of my plan. It's like, of course it was. And then the first half of this episode from here through halfway through the episode, it's just flashbacks to random fights that have happened. It's just showing them.
It's literally just like, you remember this fight? I did that. Yo, you remember this fight? I did that.
Yeah. But
but you remember this fight? I did that too.
We did get to see Ukiura and Grimmjow during this.
We did.
And we got to see them both die, which really is just beautiful. Because they fucking suck. Anyway, so there were those, and then Ichigo's like, what? What do you mean by that? And then Aizen goes, okay, and then does more flashbacks, but this time with explanation over top of it. He's like, do you think it's a fucking coincidence that you just happened to see Hollows on the day and that Rukia just happened to be there? Do you think it's a fucking coincidence that this shit happened? And then Ichigo's like, that doesn't make fucking sense. And then Aizen's
I don't believe you.
Yeah, and then Aizen's like, yeah, it does. And then Ichigo's like, I'm gonna swing my sword at you. And Aizen just kind of grabs it with his hand. He's like, get good, kid. And he's like, you're all fucking weak. And then Ichigo's dad just kind of shows up and kicks Ichigo off the side of a building. And they have a moment.
They do.
They have a moment, and then Ichigo, and then Aizen has a moment with his boyfriend Gin. He's just like a sidekick. He's like, you were watching an awfully long time, and Gin's like, yeah, well, I didn't need to help you. I mean, you stopped that sword with your bare hand.
Yeah,
you know.
good,
and
bro.
Aizen's like, oh yeah, and then Ichigo shows up and he's like, I'm gonna fight Gin, and then Aizen gets cut off the side of a building and just kind of starts falling, and
so that he can go fight Ichigo's dad.
Then he goes to fight Ichigo's dad.
I already forgot
Ichigo's
dad's name. With spiritual pressure.
It
it's with spiritual pressure. Come on, Spooky. They're soul reapers.
He flicks him.
Yeah.
If you've watched Boku no Hero, you can imagine what the flick. It's like Deku's flick exactly.
Basically, but like bad.
Yeah. So. That was that episode. Also, at the end of each episode, there's a little funny. The funnies are never funny.
But this one had
there
Booba.
Was one. Yeah, there was one with a Booba lady. Or no, that was at 108. Whatever
was
one it was. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, because this one was the Quincy one.
Oh yeah, you're right. The previous one was Booba. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the summary
synopsis.
The synopsis of Bleach episodes. So let's talk about it.
So let me clarify. There's no way I could show anyone Bleach, and they understand it within 3 episodes. There's no fucking way at all.
Bleach, if you watch the entire thing, you wouldn't fully get it at the end.
Oh no, I like shonen, which is why we're doing this, but I fully stand by the idea that you should be able to jump into a shonen at any point, watch 1 or 2 episodes in a row, and understand what's going on. At any point. And Bleach is not that. At all. Bleach is literally like, this arc is about this most powerful character, and we have to train to fight this man and defeat him. And then the arc ends, and we forget 100% about everything that just happened, and we go fight this man, who's the most strongest person we've ever met, and we have to go defeat him. But apparently also it's always Aizen's fucking plan.
Oh
and
yeah.
No one figures
Can I just say really quick, one of my favorite things about Bleach is that anytime there's a new villain, every time there's like a new villain, the plot twist is that the villain is Aizen, and it's funny every single, like, that reveal is funny every single time. It's like, you thought the villain of this arc was this guy? No, it's Aizen again. It's like, oh, didn't we kill Aizen? Nah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Holy shit. And there are legitimately characters who could be really interesting, actually. And honestly, Spooky, Chad is one of them. That they could be extremely interesting if they actually, like, develop their character more instead of standing on the sidelines and being like, should we help him?
No. See, you're wrong. Chad is the best character because he punches shit, and when that doesn't work, he punches shit harder. And really, exactly. What else could you want? Like, that's like the perfect character for a show like Bleach. You know? Like fucking Ichigo's over here, Ichigo's over here with like 4 different powers, and it's like, oh shit, he has like 4 different powers, and then his friend's like, but I punch things really hard. So, and that works sometimes.
So the Soul Reaper's swords are called their Bankai. And it's like part of their soul, and it also has its own soul or something. I'm trying to remember fully. And like Ichigo's sword has like 4 or 5 different things because he's also 4 or 5 different things. He's not only a human, he's also partially a Quincy on his mother's side. He's also partially a hollow, and his hollow is just completely like they turned it white, and his eyes and his teeth are black, and that's it. And then there's like another version of his Bankai that's like a really thin sword that you see him fighting with here, which is like Gamb said, the dark saber, and the power creep in this is worse than fucking Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone combined. Holy shit.
Bleach definitely suffers from like, oh no, what do we do? Just make him part this and like give him all of the powers. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay.
But how do we explain that away? His parents. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. Because the whole thing... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
The whole thing is that his mother was a Quincy, and I think also a Hollow, maybe? I don't remember. And then his dad was always a Soul Reaper, and so Ichigo has Soul Reaper in his blood, which is why he can see ghosts, but that's not really how Soul Reapers work, and it backtracks on itself so fucking much. There's a very obvious reason why I pick this for the bad shonen, so to speak, because it just, every single box it could tick to be bad, it does. And it does it twice in a row. And it's just, oh my god. Anyway,
I want to share the story of Caleb with Bleach.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Listening who don't know, Caleb is my boyfriend, and I've talked to him about, Bleach before, and I don't know, his experience with it's like my favorite one, I think, which is, he started watching Bleach as a, like a 13-year-old, like the exact demographic Bleach is for, and he was like, fuck yeah, this shit's so cool, and in the arc he was watching, there's like a character, and you find out that like he killed like another character's like grandfather, it's like supposed to be this like, really important thing. Yeah. And then, like, at the end of that arc, they're just kind of like, okay, we're all friends now. And Caleb, as, like, a little 13-year-old, was like, what the fuck? And quit watching Bleach. Like, he was like, this is fucking bullshit. You're not just friends with the person who murdered your grandfather. And just quit watching it. And it's so funny to me.
So I think I asked Max about that, actually, and was like, do you know of anyone who, like, dies? And he's like, no, I think there might have been, like, some fake deaths, and that's why that happened, but I don't know. And I was just like, oh god,
no, because it wasn't... It wasn't an on-screen death. Like, you just find out that's like, he's the one that did it. Yeah, this was, like, an early Bleach, too. Okay. So it's just so fucking funny that Caleb, like, as the demographic this was targeted for, who thought the show was cool, was just like, this is bullshit. Fuck this.
I mean, I was also the demographic that was like, hell yeah, I've watched Inuyasha, now I want to watch something else. What's Bleach? Yeah. I fucking hate this. Leaves. It just, and I actually had a friend in high school, and I understand why he liked it, going back to the fact that at the time, Bleach was one of the only animes with black people. Legitimately. It was one of the only animes with multiple people of color as characters that actually fucking mattered. And then they don't matter later, but that's not the point. It actually was probably the only reason they wound up liking the show is because of characters like Chad and stuff. And I just, I still, even like in high school, was like, why do you like this show? Why?
God.
Oh, how are you doing, Gamb? Gamb's dead.
Yeah, I'm fine. My thing is more like Bleach isn't like an exception. Bleach is the ultimate endpoint of shonen.
Yeah.
Like everything wrong with
agreed.
Bleach is everything that's in other shonens. It's just worsely written in here.
Yeah, it's turned
Like
up to
it's
11.
written, from what I can tell, from what we've written, and what we've watched, and what you've told me. Bleach seems like it was written either by a 5-year-old or it was written as it was being made, and they had no idea where they were going. And so every single week they finished an arc and were like, "How do we tie this into everything else? Oh, it doesn't matter. We don't have to do that." And it comes across like that, and then like, oh wait, what if we made all of these fights actually the big bad dude? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do that. Fuck it.
Let's
there's no
retcon
thought
the hell
put
out
behind
of it.
any of this. There's just, well, now they have to do this, and it's like, well, what do they do next? And it's like, well, this is a shonen, so well, we have to do that. We have to have that fight. We have to do this, and have to have the hero doing this, and their family members, and blah blah blah. It's like, this is just shonen by the numbers, but lazy.
Yes,
and
100%.
Because it's lazy, the like, it's standing alone on the tropes of being a shonen, and it cannot stand on the tropes of being a shonen alone, because a good shonen doesn't, like, in my eyes, a good shonen isn't, like, shonen is kind of, okay, let me try and explain it like this. When was the last time you ever saw a flat comedy movie? Like, just standard comedy, like, no, like, comedic, like, quips in it, like Avengers, where it's like, it's a fairly comedic tone, but like a straight up just a comedy that was like widely reviewed as like, this is amazing, this is great, this is funny. It's all like, they don't really make straight comedies in Hollywood anymore. What they do make are things like romantic comedies, where it's like, it's not just a comedy, it's built on top of other things as well. Or they make a comedic movie that's in the style of, you know, an action movie that has a lot of comedy movie elements in it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about shonen. You cannot, if you have just a straight shonen that is a shonen and nothing else, it's going to be fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because it's like baking a cake with just flour and no, like, sugar or milk or eggs. Like, if you try and bake a cake with just flour, it's gonna be fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no.
That's what it feels like to me, which is why, like, this is what Bleach is. Bleach is just the flour, and them going, oh, it's fine. I mean, it's a shonen. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
it does
it'll be fine. Like,
feel like the creator had this idea, and then everyone was like, yeah, sure, buddy, you go do that. And, like, no one would, like, tell him no, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess in that sense, it feels like someone was like, okay, what if we made a series where there's, like, ghosts, and, like, there's different, like, class of ghosts, of, like, obviously you have the big bad ones that are, like, monsters, and then, like, humans that are good, and then we have, like, almost an isekai, like, where this kid,
you know, actually
basically becomes this, like, he becomes part of this world, and he fights the ghosts, and, like, then every week we can have a new ghost, or we can have a new guy who controls the ghosts, or something related to it. It's like, there's no, like, I want to tell this story. It's more they thought up the setup for the world.
Yeah. I feel the thing that just came to mind for me was, you know, I'm not calling out any specific podcast group specifically, but there have been groups who make podcasts that suddenly get very popular. And then they make a second podcast, and a third podcast, and a fourth podcast, and a fifth podcast, and suddenly you have 20 different podcasts from this one group of people, but half of them just have no substance and are just like, oh, well, now I have to make one, and you have to make one, because this is just what we do now.
That's our plans if we get popular, by the way. Let us make shit.
It's like, and those podcasts only really survive because people see, Like, those people are so popular that they have a certain amount of people who will just watch and consume anything they create. And
Absolutely.
it's like, that's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly what Bleach feels like. Bleach feels like shonen's really popular. We got a lot of really good shonen. Let's just make another one that's just a stock standard shonen and just cram it out. It's like, will it be good? No. It'll be stock standard. And it's like, okay. It's like, does it tell a compelling story? Does it, like, is the story about, like, this protagonist? It's like, no, he's just a standard protagonist. The story isn't about him, and it might, like, maybe we could tie it in future, but, like, all we have is this setup for this world. You can have Monster of the Week, and then we could lazily tie it all together later on with, like, different things. It's like, one of my biggest the point where this went from, like, wow, this is bad, to, like, I am actively, like, I never want to see Bleach ever again in my life, and I never want to talk about Bleach to anyone in my life ever again. Not in a, like, a comedic, haha, it's so like, in a, this is so bad, I do not want to talk about it with anyone, because I will just get in an argument with them about, like, that will just evolve into me being a piece of shit, saying, like, if you're defending this, you have no idea how to write a story. Like, and I don't want to be like that, so I don't want to talk about it ever again after this podcast.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that.
The third episode we watched, 296, the entire framework of the episode is the big bad telling Ichigo, all these fights that you've gone through, I actually was behind it all. Like, I coordinated everything. I've been a puppet master shadowing everything, giving hints to get people to do things, and organizing you to fight these people, etc., for reasons, whatever. I don't remember the reasons. I don't care. That doesn't matter. There are reasons. What those reasons are do not matter. What matters is, we've just been told all these fights that we've watched over the past 295 episodes have been orchestrated by this one guy. He's the result of it all. So, as a writer, as a show creator, what you do is you want to remind the character and also the audience of all of these fights, and, like, go, hey, here was this hint during this fight that there was actually something else going on, or, like, here's a symbol of the big bad dude that was on this guy earlier on, but we didn't point it out because we were saving it for this moment. So it's like you have a quick flash of, like, here's this bad guy, here's their tell of, like, the little thread that was lined through the fight, and here's the little thread through this one. Like, really quick flashes. What this episode does is, it just takes you through a clip show, showing you 2 to 5 minutes of a fight, not recontextualizing it, not having commentary be like, oh my god, he's right. Back when this person was fighting me, I didn't realize he had this. It's like, no, it is just taking 2 to 5 minutes of previous episodes and just pasting it in there, and then it comes back to modern times and goes, okay, my god, you're right, like, everything was connected. It is so horribly put together. I do not know how anyone can consider this good or even okay. This is terrible fucking writing. And the worst part is, during one of the flashbacks, Ichigo goes, oh my god, this guy that I'm fighting right now has a similar symbol to 2 guys I fought before. And then you'd think, okay, so that ties into it at least. That ties into what we're saying as the flashbacks. Like, no, that's just part of the 2 to 5 minute flashback. That's not, like, part of the through-line dialogue that connects you between all of the flashbacks we're going to. It literally is just, here's this fight, then here's this fight, then here's this fight, then here's this fight. Now we're back. Haha, see, I told you, I was a part of it all along. And it's like, it's so frustrating, because it is so easy to do something like this. But what they've essentially done is the equivalent of a sitcom, or just a fucking a serialized show's clip show, which something that shows did mainly back in the 80s and 90s to save money, because they went over budget on their season. So they would dedicate one episode to just being a clip show of other episodes and have a very cheap framework above it to justify showing those clips. This doesn't even have the proper justification to show those clips.
Yeah.
It's... do not understand, and I'm trying so hard to, like, not be like, how the fuck does anyone think this is good? But this is... How? Like, what?
I mean, yeah, they're
just...
Like I said, there's a reason that I picked this episode, like these episodes, and there's a reason. Well, kind of. I didn't really pick the middle episode. I told Max to just pick a random one. Yeah. There's a reason why I picked this for the bad anime, and there's a reason why me and Suki have been laughing this entire fucking time, because it's just you have to just sit there and laugh at it, because you are either angry about how bad it is, or you laugh at it. There's no in between.
Well. My thing is, I can't laugh about it because I don't have any connection to this. So I can't go, oh my god, I remember this character, now they're fucking dead. Or hey, this character just... I don't know anything here. So it's like, I just go, that's a character, I guess. Okay, we're just going to this character now. Yeah. And it's like, because I have no connection, I can't... Like, this is not funny bad to me at all. This isn't like, oh my god, this is so bad, it's hilarious. This is just... If I was in charge of, like, commissioning this, I would say, we need to get rid of this. This is a fucking terrible show. And, like,
how do I delete someone else's tweet?
Essentially, like, this has no redeeming value whatsoever. The only fucking thing that I was like, man, I really like that the way they've styled this was in the first episode with the way they handled shadows and, like, using shadows to highlight characters' faces. And then the next episode, when Spooky and Dia were like, oh yeah, by the way, the first episode is nothing like the rest. They're not kidding. They get rid of the shadow thing, and instead what they do is a fucking awful, like, manga shadow... I forget the specific... It's not cross-hatching, it's like a diagonal lines in a row underneath them, and it looks fucking awful. It looks so fucking bad. It looks like a sketch in a storyboard that should not have gotten through to the final product. It's so distracting every time I look at it.
Yeah. Good old Bleach. Hey, after we give our scores and stuff today, can I give a quick rundown of how the series ends?
Yeah, sure.
Manga.
Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. We'll do
Spoil
it after.
For everyone.
No, we'll do it after scores and stuff, so that way people who don't want spoilers can, like, dip. You know what I mean? Like, like, end it on that, basically. Yeah. If that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we're all zeros, right?
Oh,
yeah, I'm a zero. Well, I feel like you guys like found it funny bad at least.
Yeah.
Yes, but I never. Oh, okay. I will only give it a -1 if I am watching it with Spooky specifically.
So that I can yell about Chad.
Yes.
No, see, I fuck. It's so hard for me to give scores. I fuck the negative scale. I give Bleach a 3 for being funny.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. I give Bleach a 3 for being funny and for having the worst design for a villain ever.
I would never watch this without other people to shit on it.
Oh, you have.
100%.
If I tried to watch this alone, I would probably. Yeah,
you would turn it off. You would turn it off.
You know how I would recommend it?
Yeah.
I would only recommend you watch this if you watched it when you were a teenager.
Yeah. I would
I would watch this with a group of
now.
people that could shit on it and like while drinking, I think would be
yeah.
fun.
My thing is like there are so many better things that you can watch to shit on and drink to though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like shitting on Bleach.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, Spooky, is you and I like shitting on Bleach because we had that history with it.
You have the history of
I
it.
didn't have much history
if you got, like,
with
a group of people who had never watched Bleach before and, like, let's watch this, it's gonna be hilarious, you're gonna be the only one who's laughing. Everyone else will just be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Right. I
guess it's funny, but I don't get it.
My history with Bleach is that I had a friend in early high school who really liked Bleach. And she would just talk about it all the time.
But that is history, is the thing.
Yeah.
You have it, then, even if it's like 1%, you do have some sort of attachment to this show.
No, I know Bleach to the most mild extent. I do also have a friend, though, who watched it every week on Adult Swim when it was airing with his friends.
It was on Adult Swim?
It was. It was,
so,
yeah.
On Toonami, on like the Toonami block. But and he would message me every week and update me, and I don't know, just him describing shit to me is so fucking funny that I ended up super invested in the fucking horse shit.
Spooky. The English dub of Bleach premiered on Adult Swim on September 9th, 2006, during their action block.
I'm pretty sure it more recently...
I'm just saying that's when it premiered, and then in 2012 it was part of it regularly, and then in 2012
there we go.
And then it remained on Adult Swim, and reruns remained on Toonami until 2015.
Yeah, it was like somewhere in that general time frame. It would have been later than 2012. They might have picked it up partway through. I'm not sure, but regardless,
if it helps, I'm reading from a wiki that says these things.
Okay, yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, hearing like their weekly updates was always really funny too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that's where I found my love for Chad. Because anytime it was a Chad episode, they'd be like, yeah, so Chad punched it and it didn't work. And I'd be like, okay, so what happened? They'd be like, he punched it harder.
I still get so mad. So let me just talk before you... Okay, we'll get into spoiler territory now, but let me just talk about something that I know because Max talked to me about this.
Yeah.
After all of this happens, after we fight Aizen, Ichigo basically gets Metroided at one point.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he gets Metroided, and Chad has to help him at one point to get his back. And it's just, Chad finally gets, like, his full, important arc, where he feels like a real person at the end of the fucking show. And it's just like, what?
That's, Chad feeling like a person is more than you can say for most of the characters.
You're not wrong, fucking Orihime. Fucking Christ.
Orihime literally is just big titty, nice girl. They were literally like, we can't make the main romance Rukia for some reason, so let's just make a girl. It's like, okay.
And, there are literally at least 4 other bigger tittied girls who have more interesting backstories. I can't remember their names. One of them is that big titty lady with the boy that you like, that has white hair and does ice things.
I like you say I like him whenever it was like, my friend was like, hey, She was basically like, can you like Bleach for me? And I was like, sure. And then I didn't know any of the characters, and I said, I guess this one's okay. I knew nothing about them.
I mean, but anyway, much.
I'm gonna get into some endgame manga spoilers right now. So if you give a fuck about the ending of Bleach, and there is going to be a new Bleach...
spoiler-free people.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new Bleach anime that covers this. So, like, if you give a fuck, you can go ahead and go. If you don't, then we're gonna get into some spoilers right now.
I will say, there is a chance that, even if Gamb does not want to do it, I would like to take you, Spooky, and watch those. And
God.
And just make one thing about it, where we just sit down and watch Bleach, and then
so
talk about it later.
About the ending again?
Yes!
Because I was, like, pissed. Okay,
absolutely. So, let's go. Alright, what happens?
Earlier in the series, they fight this dude, and he's like a god, okay? I don't remember his fucking name. It begins with a Y. I don't remember his name. But they fight this dude, he's like a god. He's like one of the enemies. Or like the son of a god, something like that. Regardless...
Is it Yoruichi? No, that's the girl.
No. But anyway, so they're fighting him, and it's like basically they set it up like this is a battle you can't win. And at the end of that fight, he is like... Okay.
Is it Hwatch? Is it Yahwatch? Is it
I don't know how do you say... I don't know how to say it. It's like...
I don't know either! It's YHWACH, I think.
I don't know how to say it. But anyway, regardless. I think that is who it is. Anyway, regardless. They end up, like, winning this fight, right? But that dude's like... Hey, yo... on the day that you are like the happiest, that you feel the safest, the day that you're the happiest in your life, I am going to show the fuck up and ruin that. I'm gonna fucking kill all of y'all, because I can do that. So watch out. And it's like, okay, and you just kind of forget about that. And then fast forward to the end of the manga, because it's like a lot happens in between that. And they do everything they're supposed to do, and suddenly it's like, oh, they're happy, things are working out for them, right? And they're all having a real good time, and suddenly you start seeing the black goop that the dude uses to like fight with or whatever, just kind of like ominously around. Like, you don't, it's not like here is all of your attention, it's just kind of like it slowly starts to appear, and you're kind of like, oh fuck, you know, like, and like I said before, I wouldn't necessarily say this would be a good ending, but it would have been a ballsy ending, and I thought that was like cool for a series like Bleach. So you're just kind of like, wait, are the characters actually gonna like fight, like have to like deal with the consequences of like the shit they did earlier on? Like is this dude actually just about to fucking murk the main cast like at the end of the series? And it was like kind of neat, you know? And then they went, nah, and just kind of went to like another dimension and continued being happy. And it's like, what? What? That's what you did? That's your fucking cop-out? Because they, like I said, they set it up so like when that dude came back, it was like, you're not gonna win. And it's kind of just like, oh shit, you know, are they actually gonna like not win? And then they're just kind of like, nah, it's fine, we're safe again. It's like, oh, okay, why was this here then? I was so mad. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
God.
So yeah, it was set up to actually have like kind of a ballsy ending, and it would have been like I said, not that it would have like made Bleach better, but it at least I would have had an ounce of respect if they actually would have went through with that. I would have been like, you know what? Good for you. You took a plot point from way earlier on, you brought it back, and you did exactly what you said it was gonna do, in a way that isn't like stereotypical shonen. Good job. Yeah. But instead they went even more stereotypical shonen. So actually, that's not even shonen. That's just stereotypical like bad. Like that's just like a huge cop out. They're just kind of like, okay, bye, or like in another dimension now. Okay. Yep. It's like, oh, okay.
God,
so that's the ending of Bleach, the manga. Good shit. God. Anyway, we'll see you next week when we watch, Do
you remember what we're watching?
Chowder.
Yes. Oh, it's Hunter x Hunter, isn't it?
Nope. Hunter x Hunter will be the
last
one we watch. It's Fairy Tail. It's Fairy Tail. Anyway, so, bye guys.
See you guys next time.
Gute Nacht.